watching that as a catastrophe is pretty enjoyable for most of us because we can relate in some way or another.
Yeah, one of my other a little bit more modern Christmas movie favorites is Christmas with the Cranks. Kind of
Me
the
too.
same
I was
deal.
just thinking of that too, where they had to last minute change everything.
Yeah,
they wanted to do it on their own.
Yeah, they were totally inflexible, and then they ended up having to be totally flexible. So that one's actually probably a pretty good analogy.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny too.
Yeah.
And I don't know any neighborhoods that are like that, where everyone has a frosty snowman on their roof, but I don't know.
No, I don't either.
But that's worth watching too if you want a good holiday laugh. Navigate transitions. Transitions can include the first holiday since the loss of a dear family member, children becoming independent young adults, new babies, and needing to care for older relatives. Open communication and flexibility are critical in navigating these situations and role changes.
Yeah, and these happen all the time too, because guess what? Your kids grow up and your parents get older and people move away and people's roles change, and then unfortunately we lose people over time. And so, then the holidays may be that first time after that loss or that first time after that transition. And so then the dynamics are different, and now there's that empty chair at the table where somebody always used to sit. And so, again, you have to just work through these things and let everybody have their own kind of time and space to deal with sometimes or with some can be some pretty painful kinds of changes.
Yeah. I mean, it's and some of them are good changes and some of them are hard, especially for those that have lost a loved one. And this is the first year that they're without them, or not even the first year only, but it can be a very devastating time of the year to spend it without somebody that was once with us. And with my advice, I would say develop new traditions, try to include them and build memories and try to think of, share a memory during the holiday of something that you remember that you've done with the person that you're missing and that you're grieving over, because, they could be there in spirit, and to make it a positive memory and including them somehow or another, putting up a picture of them if you're missing them. A lot of people say put their picture on your phone, on your screensaver, or on your computer if you're starting to dwell on the fact that you don't have them with you. It can really build a positive sense of feeling connected to them again.
I really like that idea. And so, I know a family where every year they have kind of the special blessing is said that one of the family members used to say who passed away. And so they use that same blessing every year, or they have a special, like you said, picture or ornament or something to remember somebody. And you make it kind of that, it's sort of both a memorial and a ritual.
Mm-hmm. And they would want that. I mean, I would want that if I was the one not there. I would want my family to be happy and to remember me, not mourn that I'm not there, Yeah. But another is steer clear of sensitive issues. It's often said to avoid discussing politics, religion, sex, and personal finances. This is a no-brainer. Don't bring up politics on the holidays unless you want to fight.
Well, yeah. And, it's interesting because some people, they just love doing that. And so some families, that's part of their tradition. They just want to argue about those topics. And if everybody's on board, that's great. But if everybody's not on board, then I think you have to take it into another room, or you have to separate it somehow. And, that there are going to be certain hot button issues that you just don't want to bring up because it's not going to go well. So I think some of this is just using your judgment, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Especially nowadays, politics is a really sensitive topic for pretty much everyone. It seems that it's just maybe leave that off the table for the holidays and out of the vocabulary, so to speak.
And part of it too is sometimes you don't even know what somebody's political stance may be, and then you inadvertently bring up something that gets off track pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, politics and religion are two topics that most people debate about. So, It's time for a second break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about gratitude and self-care and way to really get through this. And we'll be back in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hi, welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity, and my name's Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. My guest today is a good friend of mine, and he's a professor at the University of Kentucky, and he's a psychologist, and he has a beautiful blog at davidsussman.com. He talks about inspirational stories of hope and ending the stigma. And I want to welcome back Dr. David Sussman. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Tiffany.
This is great. These are some great tips that we've gone through, how to get through the holidays, considering your needs, clarify expectations, plan ahead, be flexible, navigate transitions, stay clear of sensitive issues. And I welcome callers to call in 866-826-1340. It's so hard for so many people feeling over the holidays. And Don Essie said it's hard when they are murdered on a holiday on Facebook. Man, that would be horrible. And I mean, that's... we can't control when people pass, and to try to reframe the way that we view the holidays and maybe not connect it to each holiday is a way to kind of get through that. I've lost loved ones close to Christmas and the holidays too, and it's never easy anyway, no matter what. But what would you say, Dr. Sussman or David? Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about Don's comment. I mean, that's just an unspeakable tragedy.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that it's just hard to even imagine, and the grief and the loss that you would go through in that kind of situation. I mean, people obviously experience a lot of really tough things, but something, on that magnitude, I can't imagine it.
But there's still hope, and I would definitely suggest going and talking to somebody, talking to a therapist, and trying to work through forgiveness of some sort, if that's even possible. But just to be able to live a happy life. Therapy is going to
be something potentially helpful. I mean, in that situation, I don't know if they would ever get to a point of forgiveness, but they might just at least get to some point of being able to, manage their feelings a little bit more easily, or get past some of that really horrible acute stage of grief.
Right. Yeah. That would be very hard to get through. Okay, so the next tip, be present. Disconnect as much as you can from work, chores, and technology during the holidays. Be mindful and present in the moment, focusing on those around you during the limited amount of time you have together. Remember what the holidays represent and try to tune into the values of peace, love, hope, and giving thanks.
Yeah, I thought that one was important because, it's kind of funny when sometimes you look around the room after a big holiday meal and everybody's either watching TV or they're on their phone or they're sleeping and nobody's even talking to each other. And, you have these just friends and family that you rarely see and you don't get to spend a lot of time with. And I think sometimes we just need to unplug and turn everything off and, maybe break out an old-fashioned game of Monopoly or, something that forces us to sit around and talk to each other or, look through an old photo album. But, figure out some way that we can really just connect and be present in that moment.
Right. Have you ever seen people out to dinner and there's a family and they're all looking at their phones?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the time.
And I know a lot of our friends and family are on the internet and on social media, that we're talking to them too, but it's, to the people around us that matter too,
Absolutely.
Maintain self-care. As much as it is feasible, try to maintain your basic routines for self-care, such as rest, physical activity, staying hydrated, and healthy eating, which is so hard to do, especially with the holidays. Bring a focus on health into the holiday routine. For example, organize a group walk after a big dinner to knock off a few of the calories.
Yeah, this is, again, just part of taking care of ourselves. And so some of us are pretty good at self-care ordinarily, but then the holidays, it just all goes out the window. So I think if we can remember to keep in some of our routines for walking or, a little bit of exercise or drinking water or getting enough sleep, then that's going to help us feel better and just enjoy the whole experience more.
Yeah, locally, there's a lot of beautiful light things. Largo Central Park has a light exhibition and exhibit, and it's free. And you walk around and get some, holiday spirit, as well as look at some beautiful lights with music. And I think now they have a Ferris wheel and rides as well. And then Tropicana Field has this thing going on at Enchantment of Lights, I think it's called, at Tropicana Field until December 29th. And they have a whole thing where the whole venue is lit up with all sorts of things, even live reindeer I've seen. So that's something to do.
Sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's creative things that are fun that you can do without your family that you don't feel like traveling to go see or whatever, that are local, at least for our listeners. Something to look into, just thought. And then you said allow time for re-entry. And this, I think, was like my favorite part of the article that you wrote. If you can allow one full day at home before returning to your regular routine to rest, recharge, and regroup. Also try to keep your schedule light the first day back so that you don't have to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think that's so important because, you've maybe been traveling for days, you're all worn out. And so if you can work in a day where you can just kind of get into your routine, rest, get some good sleep, get back to your, self-care again. And then that first day back at work or school, if you can try to not have yourself totally double booked, that's going to also help you feel better.
Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people take the time off and really enjoy their time off, but it's exhausting running around and getting everything done and cooking and shopping and wrapping. And I mean, there's so many things that are just overwhelming. And then you get back and you just have this like post-holiday flu feeling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many times have you heard somebody say, well, I need a vacation to recover from my vacation?
All the time. Yeah. It's so true. And it can be stressful, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be. And to make sure that you take time for yourself, I mean, doing things for others is great and can be rewarding, but it can be very draining. And we just have to remember, I mean, almost like a reminder that we need to take time. You have to take time for yourself.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this really boils down to being a little bit thoughtful, being a little bit planful, being a little bit flexible, and just trying to take care of yourself before you take care of everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Or while you're taking care of everyone else. And it's okay to say no.
Right.
There's a lot of times at the holidays, a lot of people ask for things as well. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to schedule that manicure, pedicure, massage, things for yourself. And, like all the moms, and there's so many moms and grandmas and everything that are like, when you say, what would you like for Christmas? And they're like, I want you to just hugs or whatever, because that's how they are. But then they're, drained because they're they've been doing everything for everyone else, or, whoever cooked the meal that hasn't sat down to have a hot meal, or that kind of stuff. It's okay to pay attention to that person too and make sure that they're pampered too.